We have a French hot hatch battle today. Let's get in, but then you get into this and engages the stupid space shuttle sound. Bonjour messieurs dames et bienvenue à une POV review française par AutoTopNL. Je m'appelle Max and that was it for today for my French. We have a French hot hatch battle today, and representing Peugeot we've got the 308 GTI, and representing Renault we've got the Megane RS. Sorry about my voice, I've been dealing with the man flu for the last couple of days, so if my voice sounds a bit weird, that is why. I've been struck down in the prime of my life and I'm probably going to die of this flu. It is very intense. But still, I'm here to drive these two cars. If you ask me, they are two of the three remaining true hot hatches. These two and the Honda Civic Type R. If you ask me, those are the three real ones, the ones that don't really compromise. We've done reviews on both of these cars already, so make sure you subscribe and hit the notification bell to receive updates when we upload a new video. You can check out the review of the 308 GTI in the top right corner, and after that I will link the Renault Megane RS POV review as well, top right corner. Today it's about driving them back to back and seeing how they differ in driving dynamics. If you have them next to each other like this, you can also judge the looks, of course, or it's easier to do that when they're next to each other. So definitely the Renault wins this. It is much more aggressive. Of course the red color also helps because the white is not that special. But the Renault definitely looks more aggressive in the front bumper, the light units, the wheels, the side sort of air ducts. You can see these ones. I think the fenders are wider as well. Yes, they are. And at the rear, it's also a lot more aggressive with those air ducts. On the side, the dual exhaust pipe inside the central exhaust, the diffuser, everything is much more aggressive than with the Peugeot, as you can see. I really still love the finishing on this exhaust though. Fits really nicely into that diffuser. Well done. Yeah, so I'm going to drive them back to back. I'm going to drive them on this road towards over there, do a little bit of cornering, see how they feel, and then take it to the Autobahn to do an Autobahn blast with both of them. But yeah, I mean, standing next to each other, I have to say that the Renault is more like a modern, aggressive hot hatch, and the Peugeot sort of, it's a bit more simple. It's more like a 205 GTI. If you get my drift, it's more simple. I'm not saying that one is better than the other. It's just an observation. Okay, we'll start with the Renault. And we have this RS drive monitor or whatever. Okay, so if we put it in race, we get some nice pops from the exhaust as well. So we're just going to start in race. So the Megane RS, if you have seen our original POV review with this car, that was with the automatic gearbox. This has a manual, thank God. Even though the EDC automatic gearbox is a lot better than before at Renault, I still prefer a manual gearbox in my hot hatches. It's just, you're just so much more involved in driving it that it's just better. So you actually get a lot of pops. I'm very happy to report that this manual is really nice. It is very accurate. It has a nice sort of click to it, and you can still shift it quick enough. It also has a shift warning sound, like a beep, which I don't really like, but I do really like this gearbox. It is much better than the automatic. Driving wise, of course, we have limited slip diff as standard on the manual version, and it has 4 controls, so 4-wheel steering. It actually feels nice and direct. Right, let's see what happens if we... Oh, that's nice. Okay, so it's very agile actually. It weighs around 1380 kilos, which is not bad for a car of this size. And with all the stuff that this car has on board. Because that is something worth mentioning, that the Megane went from the one to beat driving wise. I mean, that was the quintessential hot hatch. That was the go-to hot hatch for anyone who wanted to drive on nice roads or on a track. You'd go for a Megane RS. And they sort of went the other way with this one. They went more Golf GTI with this new generation Megane RS. But having the manual definitely improves on that. It makes it more hardcore. And this doesn't even have the cup chassis, but it's already quite hard. It's quite firm. So that's why we love these cars, because they are without compromise. They are built to drive well. Even though this Megane is, you know, a little bit more to the Golf GTI realm these days. And with that I mean more versatile. All right. Oh man, but the turn-in is really lovely. It has some big wheels, some big tires to make sure that you have enough grip, and oh, it is very nice. The steering is very progressive. It's a bit less nervous than the 308 GTI, I would say, which feels a little bit more on edge. But this does have a wonderful balance. Oh. And you get those pops every time you let off the throttle. And I don't know if they... I think they did some sound engineering as well. So this car has a 1.8 liter 4-cylinder turbo engine, as opposed to the old 2 liter of the Megane, the previous Megane. It delivers 280 horsepower, 390 newton meters of torque, and it should do 0 to 100 kilometers an hour in 5.8 seconds and onto a top speed of 255. But both of those numbers, we were not able to reach them. So we did 245 GPS on the Autobahn, which took a long stretch of empty Autobahn, and we did I think it was like a 6-second 0 to 100. So it doesn't really perform the way it should, in my opinion. And that brings me to the next point, because a lot of you thought that in our previous Megane RS Autobahn POV that something was wrong with it, or we didn't like it, and we sort of put it in a bad spot, or that it didn't have enough kilometers on it and that full power was not available. But this car has done like 8,500 kilometers and it sort of performs the same. So I don't think that's what was going on. So we're back here and we're going to switch to the Peugeot. So let's get in the Peugeot. As I said, it's wide. We've got the original GTI wheels with big brakes. As I said, limited slip diff. And interior wise, it's a lot simpler too. This car is less about all the drama and the engineered stuff and the marketing than the Renault, I think. Apart from, I'm going to say it again, I'm going to say it until Peugeot changes it. Because this is the 263 horsepower version because of the WLTP standards. With emissions, they had to down tune the engine or the horsepower with 7 horsepower to 263. Torque went up from 330 to 340. So they did change the car, and they should have changed the rev counter as well. As you can see, the area from 6 to 7 is red, but the red line is actually somewhere over here. And if you change to sport, which engages the stupid space shuttle sound or alien or whatever this is, where they found it, it changes to red completely, so you don't even know where the red line is anymore, which is stupid. I'm going to shut off the sport mode and just enjoy the car for what it is. Because when you get out of that Megane RS, this car feels so much more nimble and agile and aggressive. I have to say that I prefer the gearbox in the Megane. This is not as tight and as accurate as that one, but the steering is much more direct, so the car feels so much more nimble, which is very cool to notice when you drive them back to back. Because that car, if you would get out of any car, that car would feel so nimble, so agile, so aggressive. But then you get into this and you just notice it immediately. So that's pretty cool. Oh, this engine does feel a lot more powerful. And that is because this car weighs almost 200 kilos less than that. So, as I said, that's about 1380 kilos. This is about 1190. So almost 200 kilos, which is a big difference. And that is why this 308 GTI has been the king of hot hatches ever since it launched. Because it is so light that it just makes it feel so aggressive and explosive, that which is basically what a hot hatch is all about. And that is why we love it. The Megane does feel a little bit more grown up and a little bit more like complete with the big screen. The seats are great in both cars, I have to say. These seats are very good as well. We have a big panoramic roof, which is really nice, but I don't, you know, I think it's a lot of weight in the wrong place, but I don't know if you're really going to notice that. But it is very beautiful and very big. The iCockpit, still don't love that. You know how I feel about it. It's not that I have a problem with Peugeot or French cars in general, which some of you suggested in my 508 review. That's not the case. It's just that this doesn't work for me. But I'm not going to cover that again. We've covered that a lot. Oh, a bit of understeer, but oh, it's so neutral, this car, and you can fix understeer with throttle, weirdly enough. And I'm actually gaining on the Megane. Early shifting so I don't run into him. I can't see the rev counter because of the steering wheel, of course. So I think now, but they are very similar in speed. I think I'm gaining a little bit now. Yes, I am. Maybe that's the slipstream too. Letting off. Yeah, I think it was the slipstream. Check out this difference. Yes, it is. Oh man, they are really... This is a good match. I would say they're about as far. Yeah, I think they're the same in terms of performance. All right, so that is the Autobahn part in the Peugeot. Now we're going to switch and I'll drive the Megane and Martijn will drive the Peugeot. All right, so we'll take the Renault and see what it's like. I have to say that the Peugeot, you know, the fact that it is so darty and so agile and aggressive and nimble, that also means that your steering inputs on the Autobahn are really exaggerated. So it sort of feels like it's very nervous, which is great on a B road, on a, you know, on an exciting road. But if you drive on the Autobahn at high speed, it does feel like it's sort of darting around a little bit when you touch the steering wheel. So I think that should be better with this one. Oh, that gearbox is much better. That's why it's good to drive them back to back, because you really feel the difference. Sound wise, I mean, it's clear that Renault have done their best and tried to make it sound as good as possible. Alright. But in like accelerations like this, third gear, I mean, it feels properly fast, but it doesn't feel as aggressive as that Peugeot. But it is much more steady. It tracks better. Yeah, I would say that this car is better at high speed. So if I would have to put all this into a metaphor, I would say that this car is like a Swiss Army knife. It's more versatile than the Peugeot. It's red, that's a big reason as well. It's a bit less sharp, it's less dangerous, it's less intimidating. And I would say that based on that, the Peugeot is like a switchblade, you know, one of those crazy ninja knives. It's more aggressive, more nimble, faster, sharper. And the hood of the car is starting to shake a lot, like on the Corvette. I don't know if you can see that. 248, 250, 251. No, that's it. It's not going any faster than this. But I have to say that this chassis is really good, because that felt super easy, and it is really well balanced. So this is much more poised than the Peugeot. So there you have it, guys. We're almost at the border, which means the end of the Autobahn. To sum up, Peugeot much more aggressive, more nimble, more entertaining on a B road. The Megane really sharp, not as sharp as the Peugeot, but better on highways on the Autobahn. It's a little bit more comfortable, a little bit more grown up, and you have a properly sized steering wheel, which is thumbs up already. Alright, I'm just going to wait here for Martijn. So that's the end of this review. You can subscribe by clicking the big button in the middle. You can check out this POV review and you can check out this POV reviews playlist if you want to see more. You can also follow us on social media. Just search for AutoTopNL. And I'm now going home to bed and sleep it off. Bye guys, see you at the next one.